Prussia. The name itself seems to echo from a distant, sterner time. It conjures images of discipline, spiked helmets, grim-faced soldiers marching in perfect step. For many, Prussia is a ghost on the map of Europe, a country that was once so powerful, so central to the continent's story, has simply vanished. It was erased by the victors of great wars, its lands divided, its very name declared illegal. Yet, to understand the Europe we live in today, to understand Germany, to understand the nature of the modern state, and the terrible majesty of modern warfare, one must first understand Prussia. It was a place of profound contradictions, brilliant philosophy, ruthless militarism, enlightened monarchs, iron chancellors. Its story is not a simple one, not just a tale of battles and kings, but of an idea. A small, unremarkable state on the sandy plains of northern Europe willed itself into greatness through sheer determination, devotion to order, efficiency, and the power of the state. The land that would become Prussia was not a place destined for greatness. It was a remote and unforgiving frontier. In the early Middle Ages, this was the edge of the known world for many Europeans. The territory of Brandenburg was a vast expanse of sandy soil, dense forests, marshy swampland. It was known derisively as the sandbox of the Holy Roman Empire. Its soil was poor. Its resources were few. Its people were scattered in small, isolated settlements. There were no great mountains, no rich veins of ore, no natural defenses. It was a place you passed through, not a place you coveted. This harsh landscape was settled by German colonists pushing eastward, displacing and absorbing the native Slavic tribes. They drained the swamps, cleared the forests, and slowly carved out a living from the unpromising earth. Their rulers were the Hohenzollern family, ambitious nobles who acquired Brandenburg in the 15th century, minor players in Europe's grand game. They were electors of the Holy Roman Empire, a prestigious title with limited power, surrounded by stronger states like Poland, Sweden, and Austria. In the 17th century, dynastic inheritances gave them a separate realm, the Duchy of Prussia, far to the east, outside the empire. The rise of Prussia was not an accident of history. It was a deliberate, multi-generational project of the Hohenzollerns to transform scattered, vulnerable territories into a modern, centralized, powerful state. After the devastation of the 30 Years' War, the Elector Frederick William, the Great Elector, vowed this would never happen again. His radical solution: the state's primary purpose was to maintain a strong standing army and reform everything to support it. He broke the power of local nobles, established a modern taxation system, and built a professional bureaucracy to fund and feed the army. He created the machinery of the modern state. The army built the state, and the state served the army. This was the Hohenzollern vision. Frederick the Fuhrer made it a kingdom, but Frederick William Fuhrer embodied the ethos, order, efficiency, the military. Prussia became an army with a state. Military values, discipline, obedience, duty, sacrifice, became the values of society. Junker's sons served as officers. The bureaucracy ran with military precision. A new social contract, security and order in exchange for service. It was a hard bargain, but one that would make Prussia strong. And then came the Soldier King. Frederick William I reigned 1713 to 1740, the true architect of the Prussian state, often called the Soldier King. He was strange and formidable, coarse, ill-tempered, deeply pious, with contempt for the arts and philosophy, and for decadent courtly luxury. His one passion was the army, God's order on earth, drilled to perfection. Not a great general, reluctant to go to war. He feared losing the soldiers he had trained. An obsessive, frugal administrator, cutting non-essentials to fund the military. He stalked Berlin and Potsdam, cane in hand, striking at idleness. He created cantonal recruitment, district quotas turning the nation into a recruiting ground. His eccentric hobby, the Potsdam Giants, exceptionally tall soldiers, recruited, sometimes kidnapped, from across Europe. Behind the oddities, a ruthless reformer, founding the General Directory, centralizing taxes and trade, professionalizing a competent and honest civil service. He doubled the army, from 40 to over 80,000, the fourth largest in Europe. Not conquest, but capacity. A Spartan state, austere, demanding, the individual subordinate to the collective. He forged the machine of power, the weapon, and left Frederick the Great two gifts: a full treasury and a perfectly honed army. The question over Europe: what would his son do with it? Frederick II, Frederick the Great, was everything his father was not. Sensitive, artistic, playing the flute, writing French poetry, corresponding with Voltaire. The soldier king was disgusted. Frederick endured a brutal upbringing, a failed attempt to flee, a court-martial, and was forced to watch his closest friend's execution. When he took the throne in 1740, many expected peace and culture, a philosopher king. They were wrong. Seeing opportunity as Maria Theresa's claim was contested, Frederick marched, without declaration, into Silesia and seized it, a shock of realpolitik. Europe plunged into the War of the Austrian Succession, and then the desperate 7 Years' War. Frederick led from the front, sharing hardship, innovating rapid movement and disciplined firepower, smaller Prussian forces defeating larger Austrian armies. Encircled by Austria, France, and Russia, Prussia neared annihilation. Frederick carried a vial of poison. Then came the miracle of the House of Brandenburg. The Russian Empress died. Russia withdrew. Prussia survived, battered but victorious, keeping Silesia, now a major power. He spent his later reign reforming law, promoting religious tolerance, fostering arts and sciences, both ruthless commander and cultured patron, a contradiction at the heart of Prussia itself, and a template that would shape Europe. The army was now inseparable from the state. The story of Prussia is inseparable from its army, hammered on the anvil of war from the Great Elector to Frederick the Great. Its power lay not only in size, but in revolutionary discipline, training, and tactics. Endless drill made loading and firing mechanical reflexes, a faster rate of fire and cadaver-like obedience, enforced by brutality, the lash and the gauntlet. Such discipline enabled precision maneuver. Frederick perfected the oblique order, mass on one flank, hold the other, to gain local superiority and shatter larger armies. The officer corps, Junker aristocrats, raised to serve and honor, loyal to the king, their social standing tied to rank. Professionals amid Europe's amateurs, harsh and paternalistic toward peasant soldiers, effective in battle's crucible. But after Frederick, rigidity bred complacency. In 1806 at Jena and Auerstedt, Napoleon's new art of war crushed Prussia, a national humiliation. Defeat was a catalyst. Reforms in military and society began, birthing an even more powerful war machine for the century to come. Prussia reimagined itself, ready to reshape Germany. The humiliating defeat by Napoleon was a reckoning. Frederick's state revealed as a brittle shell. Reformers, Stein, Hardenberg, Scharnhorst, Gneisenau, rebuilt from the ground up, mobilizing not just an army, but a people. They abolished serfdom, reformed government, opened the officer corps, and introduced universal conscription, citizens, not mere subjects. The reformed army helped defeat Napoleon, most famously at Waterloo, elevating Prussia's standing. In the German Confederation, rivalry simmered. Austrian Empire versus Prussia. Who would lead the Germans? Otto von Bismarck, appointed in 1862, a conservative Junker, set out to unite Germany under Prussian terms by realpolitik, iron and blood. First, allied with Austria to seize Schleswig-Holstein. Then, he provoked Austria. Königgrätz decided it. Needle guns and railways delivered a crushing Prussian victory. Prussia now dominated northern Germany. He engineered war with France, another stunning success. Patriotic fervor swept the German states. In 1871, in Versailles' Hall of Mirrors, the princes proclaimed King Wilhelm the Fierce as German Emperor. Prussia had forged a new great power, the German Empire. Europe had been remade. Unification was the pinnacle. The Hohenzollern dream realized. An industrial and military colossus. Discipline, efficiency, militarism. Under Bismarck, peace held, but the Prussian-German state was authoritarian and militaristic. The army, a state within the state. After his dismissal in 1890 by Kaiser Wilhelm II, policy grew aggressive. The balance unraveled. Industrial might, military tradition, rising nationalism, alliances, imperial rivalries, and war plans pulled Europe into the First World War. The army marched with confidence, expecting swift victory. Instead, 4 years of horror, defeat, economic collapse. Wilhelm II abdicated. The Hohenzollern monarchy ended. Prussia lived on in Weimar, but its soul was gone. Then the Nazis, exploiting Prussian symbols of discipline, uniforms, military glory, twisted them into totalitarian madness, leading to catastrophe. After the Second World War, the Allies issued Law No. 46, abolishing Prussia as a bearer of militarism and reaction. Its lands divided, its name wiped from the map. The Ghost Kingdom was legally exorcised. Today, the state of Prussia is gone. Its palaces in Berlin and Potsdam survive as relics of a lost world. Its heartlands lie in today's Germany and Poland, yet Prussia has not vanished from Europe's mind. The ghost of Prussia still walks Europe's corridors, felt in ways both positive and negative. Positive legacy: the modern, professional civil service, efficient, rule-based, relatively incorruptible model to the world. The idea that the state must provide education, social welfare, public order, what Frederick called being the first servant of the state. A well-ordered state for the common good underpins many modern democracies, today's Federal Republic of Germany among them. But there is a darker echo: glorification of the military, obedience over conscience, belief in force to achieve political ends, creating a dangerous tradition. Tragically co-opted by the Nazis, culminating in the 20th century's greatest catastrophe and the lesson etched at Nuremberg. Prussia is contradiction. Kant's freedom and reason and the rigid Potsdam Guard, religious tolerance and bureaucratic efficiency, yet the perfected machinery of war. It built a modern state, but failed to build democratic brakes to restrain its power. Look at Europe today: efficient states, social responsibility, and the haunting memory of devastating wars. The long, complex shadow of a vanished kingdom. Prussia is gone, but its DNA is embedded in the fabric of the modern world.